The time is 6 p.m. This meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk.
City Attorney Doctor.
Here.
City Manager Burton.
Here.
Commissioner Dean.
Here.
Commissioner Logan.
Here.
Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Mayor Collins.
Here.
And for the record, Commissioner Shurtleff will be joining us shortly.
That's correct. Welcome and thank you for participating in the City of Helena City Commission meeting. We are pleased to be able to provide this alternative meetings format in the city's effort to broaden public participation. Please be patient as we may experience technical difficulties during the meeting. We welcome your public commentary. Please read the following tips and guidelines for the app usage and your participation. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Our commission meeting minutes from 10/21/24 and minutes from 11/4/24 were received. Any corrections, additions? The minutes will stand as submitted. Presentation, acceptance of Montana Disaster and Emergency Services Grant. Chief Petty, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Tonight before you, I have getting confirmation approval to accept the MATIC grant for the Helena Police Department. The MATIC grant we've been getting for many years. It's a non-competitive grant given by the Montana Disaster and Emergency Services. MATIC stands for Montana Analysis and Technical Information Center. That's our canine coming. The MATIC grant is, we have a detective that is currently in the MATIC Center. It's a fusion center in the state. It's housed here locally in Helena, and what we do is we put a person in there. They go around the state, gather intelligence from other police departments or share the intelligence from other police departments. It's mostly for those smaller communities that don't receive the information. It's been a great asset for us over the years, a lot of information shared. A lot of it is good when we have incidents at the Capitol and we have information coming in there. We have those folks, they have analysts that come in there and they will sit in the EOC and able to get real-time data and give that to the people on the ground. So we've had this grant for a long time. The grant we get is $125,000. It more than pays for one of our officers to be in there. And so tonight we're looking for confirmation and approval of that grant.
Thank you, Chief. Any comments from the commission? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to accept the Montana Disaster and Emergency MATIC grant to the Helena Police Department for the MATIC Liaison Information Detective.
Second.
Okay, do we have any public comments on this topic? Any online, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Chief.
I got one more for you, if you don't mind.
We don't do everything, huh? Go for it.
For the second presentation tonight, this is confirmation of Officer George Weaver. I'll have him come up here. He does have his canine with him, Billy. And if you don't mind, I will introduce you to Billy the canine, who hopefully is not more exciting than our officer, but The dogs usually are in more favor.
Billy ready to go to work.
We'll see if he can get settled down here. They told me he was going to be a lot more calm than Copper when he came in, but we'll wait and see. So tonight I have an officer that has successfully completed their one-year probationary period with the Helena Police Department. At the end of the probationary period and under Montana state law, the appointment of the officer must be submitted to the City Commission. And if the appointment is confirmed by the City Commission, then the officer becomes a member of our police force. With this said, I'm seeking approval from the Commission to confirm this officer tonight. Prior to having the Commission vote on this officer's confirmation, I'd like to introduce Officer George Weaver and his canine Billy. Officer Weaver here, he grew up in Kuskia, Idaho. His law enforcement career began in 2018, where he worked as a patrol officer in Shoshone, Wyoming. A year later, he transferred to the Wickenburg Police Department in Arizona, where he was a patrol officer for 5 years and a canine handler for 2 years. George was hired by the Helena Police Department in 2023. George has been married to Mikkel for 2 years, and they have many animals at home. George is excited to be part of the Helena Police Department family and seeks to help grow the canine program along with assisting the department canine programs. George is grateful for the Helena Police Department for giving him the opportunity to serve his community and help others. Now if I can just briefly talk about Billy and how we obtained him. This is Billy. Billy's I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name. Billy is a 6-year-old Belgian Malinois. Billy was with the Goodyear Police Department in Arizona for 6 years, serving as a dual-purpose canine, and that's in explosive detection and patrol. Billy has multiple deployments under his belt. Billy's first handler was recently promoted to sergeant with the Goodyear Police Department. Officer George Weaver has a good relationship with multiple agencies in the state of Arizona, and knowing that Officer Weaver has been working on building Helena's canine program, they generously donated Billy to the canine program. Canine Billy is ready and excited to serve the Helena community and others. Whether he said that or not, I'm not sure. That's what's written here. With that, I'd like to welcome Officer George Weaver and Canine Billy, but before approval of his confirmation, if we can give Officer Weaver a minute to say a few words.
Please.
Yes. Well, use the mic so everyone can hear.
Off. Evening. I'd like to thank the Mayor and the Commission for giving me this wonderful opportunity, along with my beautiful wife, Mikkel, for being there by my side throughout all this. It's been honestly an amazing year, assisting the canine program, just watching it grow, getting to learn about Helena's community, and just being back in the Northwest again. So again, I am very grateful for everyone here for giving me this opportunity and being with the Helena Police Department.
Thank you, Officer. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
First of all, congratulations. We are super excited that you decided to move to Helena and really excited about the leadership that you clearly are already exhibiting in the department and bringing on a new canine. So congratulations. Really grateful that you chose Helena and excited to see where your career goes here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Thank
Please.
you. I just offer my congratulations as well. And best of luck in the future. Looks like you've got your hands full.
Absolutely. Love it. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. Hey, thank you very much and welcome to Helena, to you and your spouse and your canine. Thanks for all you're going to do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations, welcome, and hopefully not seeing you and the canine anywhere I work soon, but I'm glad that you are part of our department, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Officer, congratulations and welcome to the team.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Yes. This is his way of saying thank you.
Just need to get a
Yeah.
confirmation vote. Thank you,
So
sir.
at this point, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
He's not even here to listen to.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
thank you. I'd be happy to move to approve the confirmation of Officer George Weaver.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Do we have any public comments on this topic? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final? Madam Clerk, please publish.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Dean,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Chief. Bid awards. Bid award for the City of Helena wastewater treatment plant primary scum pump station replacement project number 19-42. City Engineer Clark and/or Director Leland, you have the floor. Good evening.
This is a much-needed repair of inoperable pump station at the wastewater treatment plant. I'd like to also give a little shout to my staff who's been working on this project for about 6 years. And the pump station's been inoperable for about 7 years. It's a big headache and it's a mess, as its name implies. It's not a pleasant thing. And the project tonight, we had one bid for about $1.223 million. The entire project's being funded by a WPC SRF loan from the state, and of that loan, staff and myself obtained $497,000 of loan forgiveness, which means we're borrowing $1.5 million and paying $1 million back. So I'm happy to listen to any questions you might have.
Thank you, Engineer Clark. Comments from the commission? Do you have any public comments? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I will move to award the wastewater treatment plant primary scum pump station replacement project to the lowest responsible bidder, Hard Rock Road Building and Utilities, Inc., in the amount of $1,223,242.50.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Dean,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Commission proposals? Anything?
Mr. Mayor,
Please.
not exactly sure where this will go or how to phrase it. I've been getting, I don't know if you all have, but I've been getting quite a bit of email from folks about the water situation, and I'm kind of wondering if there might either point me in a direction where this has been presented in media. I've seen social media posts about it, but I don't know that I've seen kind of a comprehensive, this is what's going on, and this is what we're doing to mitigate the situation. And I'm just hoping for a clearer and more comprehensive report to more of the public than us, but so I'm not sure where to go with that.
Mr. Manager, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. When it's time for the manager's report, I was going to ask permission for the Public Works Director, Ryan Leland, to report
Good.
on the transition from the upper 10 mile to the Missouri plant and the taste and odor, or the color and odor issues that.
You don't need permission any longer.
Thank you.
All right, report of the city attorney.
Mayor, Commissioners, I have nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
Report of the city manager.
Mayor, with your permission, Director Leland.
Director Leland, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. We had some unfortunate events that have all come together to kind of have this taste and odor problem be worse than it typically is for the year. We typically do get some taste and odor complaints and taste and odor out of the Missouri River treatment plant. And to put it, and to just give a big overview, we have three sources that we use. We have the 10-mile water treatment plant that is our primary source that comes out of the Remini water, and it is, from the upper reaches of the watershed, so it's pretty clean and doesn't have a whole lot of big reservoirs to be able to get algae in there, and there's some in Chessman that we have done aeration, but it's a smaller reservoir, so we can actually treat it a little bit better. Then we have the Eureka well, which comes from an underground source that is, it's underground, so you have some hardness, but it is very good tasting water. Then you have the Missouri River that comes out of Canyon Ferry. With Canyon Ferry, it goes into the regulating reservoir, and in the regulating reservoir, it's a bigger reservoir that is shallower than, say, up in Chessman. So every year, it stratifies with the thermocline. You get warmer water that comes up because as water gets colder, it gets denser. So it stratifies in there. And then with the colder air, it cools the upper portions of the water, and then it circulates down to the bottom. When it does that, it's called turnover. And with that, it creates a current, and then you get some mixture from all of the moss and some of the organics that are on the bottom of the pond, and it turns over and can get sucked up into the intake. It is still treated. We have been using Missouri River water since last May, so it has been coming in there. That is the only change that has happened, is we've had this turnover. Well, this year, whenever it happens, we typically have the other two sources, that's why I brought them up, to dilute it. So we kind of cut off the Missouri River, and anyway, it's getting to the end because it happens in September, October timeframe, to be able to dilute it and either cut it off or have less of it because irrigation goes off. But this year, because we have the other two projects that are going on, which is the 10-mile filter and also the Eureka well, which was supposed to be done a year ago, but because of the inability to be able to get the pumps and the controllers for 52 weeks was out, it came in that we have to do these two projects at the same time, so we lose the ability to dilute it. And typically, we get a cold spell in October, so we start that and then it turns over. If that had happened this year, we'd have still had the 10-mile plant to dilute it and be able to take everything off, but it was pushed off because we had such a warm fall that we came up against a time frame that we had to start the 10-mile filter project to be able to get it done, so it'll finish in April-May timeframe and doesn't get into the irrigation and cause bigger problems. So we turned off the plant, got it started, and then we had the turnover in the regulating reservoir. With that, we have changed the intake. We are looking at being able to change it. One of the hard things of being able to treat, which we do treat it, but also get the taste and odor with the carbon, is it changes dramatically because of the current, and so it's hard to get something that is in perpetual flux to be able to figure out the exact chemistry and recipe to get the taste and odor out of there. With that, we're getting it to stabilize now, and once the water stabilizes, you'll go back to the taste that you were getting from the Missouri River plant in the summertime. So we should be seeing in the next few weeks for it to calm down. We are trying different things as far as adding more carbon and trying to get that, but we just need it to stabilize, and we're seeing that right now to have it stabilize and be able to do it. But this is something that does every year. It is safe, it is treated, we are monitoring everything. For health concerns, there isn't a concern out there. We do understand and recognize there is a taste and odor problem, which is aesthetic and can be unpleasing to a certain percentage of the population, and so we are looking into that. But in the future, now that we are doing the ground well water, we'll have 4 sources, so it'll be able to give us more options into the future. So I'll answer any questions.
Thank you, Director Leland.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Leland, and perhaps, I know it's a challenging thing nowadays to try to determine where to go to reach the public, but, as far as independent record and those sorts of things, but perhaps an update, I know an initial story came out, but perhaps an update to the community might be in order. Because like I say, we get questions from the public, but being a layperson, I don't have the, the knowledge to adequately express to them what's going on, so.
So Manager Burton?
Mayor, I think that we can continue to update the public on this situation and coordinate with Jake and.
Mayor, Commissioner, with that is we do have we're working through Jake with our public relations firm to create a video to try and get a pamphlet to be able to go out. And then also tomorrow we are working with the TV station to be able to do a bigger public outreach with that. So Jake just contacted me right before the meeting, so we are going to do that. We're trying to get it out, but this will be another avenue to be able to get this information out.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Burton and Director Leland. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Are you done with your report, Manager Burton?
Yes, I am, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, communications from Helena Citizens Council. We have Representative Katie Ryan and Bob Haybeck.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, I'm Katie Ryan. I represent District 5, and tonight the council has nothing new to report, unless you have some questions.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Ms. Ryan? Thank you, Representative Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay, consider a resolution to set rates for all customers of the City of Helena water system. Director Leland, you're back.
Unfortunately for you guys. So, Mayor and Commission, if you would oblige, I'd just do the water for the next two A and B1 presentation, so we can just get it out of the way.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so looking at the water and wastewater rates, we are going to ask, and we're proposing to do a 3.5% raise for water, increase for water, and a 4% raise or increase for wastewater. With that, we will be able to help do better treatment to the inflationary increases that we're seeing, the construction increases costs that we are increasing. This will help cover it. And just wanted to give some comparisons between the cities that are out there. This is what's happening this year, and last year I know most of them also did a 10 to 12% or more increase. You can look at Billings at 12, Great Falls, Kalispell 15%. So we are well under what was already, or other cities are seeing. You know, and the wastewater is a little bit less unless you're Belgrade, which they have a lot of growth that they have to accommodate. So they had some big upgrades to their plant. So that's why they saw some of the biggest increases. But you can see here that the city of Helena overall is much lower of an increase than we've seen for any of the major cities that are out there. This gives you, with a base of 6,000 gallons, this is a comparison. We are second to last for the water, except for Great Falls, which is lower. And then we are third to last, with Great Falls and Butte having a little bit less than us, but we are still very low combined, except for Great Falls. We would be the lowest water and wastewater rates in the state. So we have kept them down. We have been very diligent and streamlined to be able to try and produce the best water and treatment that we can. And this is to give what we've done historically. This isn't like we've come off big increases and then now asking for this. Is, you can look here in fiscal year 2021 is the last time that we really asked for an increase. We've had 0% increases, 8%, 15%. So back in 2021 is the last time we've really had a significant increase for either of these funds. Last year we did do 4% for wastewater, which is an inflationary type increase, and what came out of the rate study. So both the 3.5%, 4% came from the rate study that was out there. And some of the increases are because pipe material, 20%, lab is going up 20%. This is just over last year. Chemicals, you're seeing 45 to 80% increases depending on which chemical that is out there. So in the water treatment, it's a big increase. And then also utility costs, as everyone knows, electricity, gas is going up significantly. So we've been able to absorb these costs through diligent streamlining work that we do ourselves instead of going out for the bigger capital projects. And then some of the big projects we're doing right now with the ARPA funding has kept the capital costs down, but we aren't just relying on that. We are going to continue to do our capital projects. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, and we did do the public outreach, and we got 0 comments.
Thank you, Director Leland. Comments from the commission? Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Question for Director Leland. I think it was implied, but I just want to make sure I understand. So we had a 15% increase like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and then 0, 0, and now 4. We are not anticipating keeping it artificially low and then having a need to have a much larger increase down the road, correct?
Mayor, Commissioner, no. And when you look at the rate study suggests that we keep 3.5–4% going throughout. The only thing that we can see on the horizon that you may see a big, balloon payment for say is when the wastewater discharge permit comes out and what is required for that. If we have $25 to $50 million capital improvements that we have to do, that'll affect the rates, and then we will have the discussion when that comes. But we aren't arbitrarily keeping it low just to make everyone happy. This is truly what is needed for us to get our capital improvement plan that we need and also our operations.
Thank you. Any other comments from the commission? Yes,
Mayor.
Manager Burton.
Director, and when you talk about the regulations, that's through the State of Montana Department of Environmental Quality, is that correct?
Mayor, City Manager, yes, that is the EPA with the Clean Water Act, and have gone through the legislation, and they are in rulemaking right now, which we are an active participant through the League of Cities and Towns to figure out what the rules are going to be. And we're all about treating the water, but we want to make sure that we don't just dump money in and not have clean water.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments on this topic? Madam Clerk, do we have any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve a resolution to set residential and commercial water base and usage rates.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Do we have any final comments? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Director Leland. Consider an extension of the planned completion and final plat of Phase 1.
We have to do the wastewater.
Oh,
Well, I can do it.
I thought you were staying up to complete this stuff because you asked for that. And then you went and sat down, confused me up.
I'm sorry, Mayor, but
Go ahead.
I can go through the whole spiel again about the wastewater.
No, just do what you have to do.
So, any questions on that?
Mr.
Okay.
Mayor, I'd just quickly comment that I think it's interesting that it has been a while since these rates have gone up. And if you think back, and correct me if I'm wrong, but 2019 was when the summer of 2019 was when the increases were actually made for FY21. The commission at that time was on a biennial budget, so it's been a long time. And again, I'll be supporting this, very supportive of the increases, and appreciate the work done on this.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I will move to approve a resolution to set residential and commercial wastewater base and usage rates.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Do we have any public comments on this topic? Madam Clerk, do we have any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
Any final discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, would you take the roll?
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Consider an extension of the planned completion of final plat of Phase 1 of the West Side Wood Major Phase subdivision from December 2024 to December 2025. Director Brink, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. As stated, this is a consideration of an extension for the planned completion for final plat of Phase 1 of West Side Woods. As permitted and Montana Code annotated 763617, paragraph 1, a subdivider may change the schedule for review of each phase of the development upon approval of the governing body, City Commission, after a public hearing. Only if the change does not negate conditions of approval or otherwise adversely affect public health, safety, and welfare. We did receive a written notice from the applicant for the extension request, and that was received on October the 11th of this year. Per MCA, this public hearing must be held within 30 working days after receipt of the written request, which it is being held. And then after the hearing, the governing body, again, City Commission shall determine if the change does not negate conditions of approval. Some background on this project, not related to infrastructure approval or review of approval. On April 10th of 2023, City Commission, you gave pre-zone approval. You approved a resolution of intent to annex with conditions, and you approved the preliminary plat with conditions. Part of that preliminary plat was for a major phase subdivision with a phase-in schedule. And that phase-in schedule was originally Phase 1 with anticipation completion date of December of 23, Phase 2 with anticipated completion date of December of 25, Phase 3, December 27, Phase 4, December 29. On May 22nd of last year, after you held a hearing, you approved the commencement request for Phase 1. On September 11th of last year, you held a public hearing and considered an extension for Phase 1, which changed that from December 23 to December 24. Then on that same date, you also approved the commencement request for Phase 2. Some background relative to public comment. We sent letters to adjacent owners via certified mail shortly after we received the extension request. And we also sent letters to nearby property owners located within 300 feet of the project via regular mail. Legal notice was published in the IR as of the date I wrote this memo, and as of today, we've received no comments from the public. So, in conclusion, at this time, and relative to the extension request for Phase 1, review and completion of West Side Woods Major Phase Subdivision, we've identified no changes that this request would cause that would negate conditions of approval or otherwise adversely affect public health, safety, and welfare. Therefore, staff recommends that City Commission move to approve an extension of the schedule review for Phase 1 from December 24 to December 25. I'm here for questions, and also the applicant, Ron Barsh of Sussex Construction, is here as well.
Thank you, Director Brink. Commissioners? Do we have any public comments on this topic? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I do have one hand raised online, listed only as Andy O. If you could please state your full name for the record.
Hi, my name is Eve Byron.
You have the floor.
Hi, I was just curious. We endured a summer full of dust and construction traffic, and now it looks like we're going to be facing yet another summer full of that. And I was wondering what mitigation efforts you may ask the developer or may impose on the developer in order to ensure that we don't have yet another summer in the Dust Bowl.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any others?
Mr. Mayor, I have no other public comment online.
Okay, Commissioner Saul.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Could I just maybe ask Director Brink a question?
Please, go ahead.
So Director Brink, just to the public comment, I know we got a couple emails this summer regarding that. Can you talk about like how the conditions are formatted and what the responsibility is?
Mayor and Commissioner Dean, so the conditions as they were attached to preliminary plat approval are based on the completion of a phase and not completion of a date certain. So it is tied to when that phase is completed. So there's certain measures or benchmarks relative to each phase. Certain off-site improvements must be made before final plat of that phase is approved. There's some requirements of city code and state statute regarding dedication of park and open space that happens at a particular phase, but it's not tied to time. It's just whenever that phase is completed.
Any other comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve an extension of the schedule of review for Phase 1 from December 2024 to December 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. At this time, is there anyone from the public wishes to address the commission? Madam Clerk, do we have any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
Any final comments from the commission? This meeting is adjourned.